Hello! In my previous video I sorted out all of my Daniel Smith watercolour paints, but today I thought I would focus on the Primatek ones that I have in this smaller palette. And if you want to check out that previous video, I sorted all of these into this pan and I made this little swatch, etc. But I am definitely going to do a painting with them. I was inspired just by their granulation colours, and I also found a pretty cool reference photo which took my fancy, so I think these paints will be perfect for that. So I have 15 colours in my collection at the moment: rhodonite, amethyst, sugilite, sodalite, kyanite, blue apatite, that's Sleeping Beauty turquoise, garnet, fuchsite, jadeite, serpentine, cyclorite, burnt tiger's eye, pigmentite, and bloodstone. I hope I pronounced all of those correctly. There's probably a bit of accent difference in there, but never mind, we get the idea. As you can see, pretty much all of them are very granulation. Not so much the garnet, and that is some of that jadeite which got on there. The fuchsite is a very sparkly one. Can you see that reflecting in the light? Other sparkly ones include the amethyst, the sugilite, and the kyanite. It's quite hard to show on the camera. I might just paint these four onto some black paper so we can see what they look like, because it's really hard to show on the white paper. Okay, it is also really hard to see the sparkles on black. That is because most of them are pretty transparent, except for that fuchsite, which does show up quite well, but the sugilite I think is the best one, and the amethyst. Those two at the top, you can really see them glittering now that I'm moving it. The kyanite has got slightly bigger sparkles in it, but maybe not quite as many. And fuchsite, it does show up, but because it's quite opaque by comparison to some of the others, that opaqueness is hiding the sparkle a bit. At least you get some idea. So all of these tubes I have are 15mm, and the most expensive one would probably be the Sleeping Beauty Turquoise Genuine. That, I think, is a Series 5. There it is, Series 5. So this one I ended up buying with some birthday money I had a couple of years ago. But I just love the name of it. Sleeping Beauty is an actual mine in the USA, and that's where they mine the turquoise from. So that's why it's called that. One thing I've noticed with the Primateks is they do tend to dry really hard, and so they are a little bit difficult to re-wet. The best thing to do for them is to actually drop some water on before you want to use them and let that water sit for a little while. Just drip a little bit on, you could spray it. I tend to use the dripper because it's a bit cleaner, and that will just help to loosen the paints up, and then when you're ready to use them they will just re-wet a lot more easily. There we go. In particular the shiny ones tend to take a bit more time to re-wet. So I'm going to bust open a new pad of paper, my absolute favourite watercolour paper in the whole world. I don't know if they're still making it. They seem to have discontinued it, at least in Australia, although I think you can still get it in the UK. If I can find it on Jackson's Art, I will link it in the description below, because I really love this. It's 100% cotton, it is cold press, sometimes called medium press, and it's a 300 GSM paper. In this size it's a 9x12 roughly, and 12 sheets of it, so I thought I'd get some of this and use it today. So I've printed out the reference image I'm going to use. Isn't that a really cool photo? It was taken by someone in a Facebook group called Free Reference Photos for Artists that I joined recently, and there are some amazing reference photos in there, and anyone can contribute their own images into it for other people to use. I'm going to credit her in the description below. I may not be able to link the photo though because it's a private group, but that's basically what it looks like. And I made this into the size I wanted. I'm actually going to just go over the outlines of it onto my nice paper using my light box, just because pots are quite hard to draw. I have actually drawn this once in my sketchbook, and I wasn't going to show it, but I may as well give you a little sneak peek of what I did. There we go. This one I actually drew by hand, and I just thought I might go a little bit more precise with it, because I think actually they came out quite well, all things considered. I just sketched these in with a pencil, but I didn't do too badly. But this paper's infinitely more expensive, so I think I will just go over the pots and get the outlines in. Alright, I'm going to just quickly draw this in and then I will get painting. Probably just about see some of the pencil lines I have on there, and the rest of the details I'll just add in as I'm painting it. I might even end up doing some drawing a bit later onto the painting as well. I'm not too sure. I'm going to start off with the Primatek paints just as they are, and then if I decide they need outlines I will go in with that afterwards. So I can't wait anymore. Let's get painting! I started off wetting some of the background. I'm using wet on wet technique here, and I usually prefer to go in with the background first because it just gives me an idea of what the colours are going to be and how dark I've managed to make the background. I was trying to keep it relatively light to begin with, and I'm just working on one area at a time, going around the pots, trying to not go over the lines as much as possible, although I did make a few little mistakes here and there, but that's not too much of a problem. Because it's only a light wash, it's usually easy to paint over the top of that. And then I went down to the floor and painted in some colours there. I was using the reference photo and my sketch as an idea, but really I was just making it up as I went along, just dropping colours in. So I let the background dry and I started to go in with the pots. I pretty much went over the entire picture with one layer, and then I went over everything again to get a much darker colour when everything had dried, and I just dropped colours in. I was trying to stay as loose as possible and not get too uptight with where the paints went. As you can see, the Primatek colours really do flow well in water, and they have such amazing granulation, especially that blue apatite, and also the garnet was coming up with quite a bit, although in my swatch it wasn't that much. I love the amethyst so much. It is such a pretty colour. It does go quite a bright purple, but overall most of the colours are very muted. I mean, they're natural pigments, they're made from different gemstones and whatnot, so they are a more muted palette overall. But a couple of the colours are brighter, like that Sleeping Beauty turquoise, and also the serpentine is quite a light colour as well. So they mix well together. The darkest ones in here are the Primatite, Bloodstone and Sodalite. When you use them as neat as possible, their mass tone is so dark, especially the Sodalite. It's almost black, but it's got a blue undertone, so I really love that one. And after I'd let the whole painting dry, I went over everything again with another layer to add in more texture, value, and also to increase the saturation of some of those colours. I mean, you can see it in the greens when you layer it over, just how much brighter they get. And you'll see in a while that I added some gold ink to the tops of the pots around the lids, the handles, and for a few little highlights on the pots themselves. And then I added in some white ink as well for really bright highlights, and went over everything one last time to get in the deepest shadows as well. I'm actually really happy with how this painting turned out. It looks a bit of a hot mess at the moment because it's going through the ugly phase, but once I'd finished the whole thing and went over the background again, I think the colours just look amazing, and that granulation is just popping. I love it so much. And I'm done. What a mess I've made of this palette. I had a great time with these. It was so much fun using the Primateks. I'm really into granulating paints at the moment. These and the Schminke super granulation ones are really awesome too, but I just love the Primatek colours. They're so pretty. And they do come out pretty vibrant as well once you start layering them. And I think the gold just added a little bit to it as well, and some of those white highlights. I'll put it in the sunlight. Now you can see the sparkles. That is so pretty. And the gold as well. Look at that amethyst shining. I really like the depth of colour and the granulation that I've gotten into it. So what do you think of it? Do you like it? Let me know in the comments what you thought of the paints and if you have these yourself. And also let me know if there are any other colours I should add to my collection, because I've got space for more. Thanks very much for watching this video. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and click that subscribe button. And I will see you all again really soon in my next video. Take care out there. Swatch you later. Bye.